Welcome everybody. Today we are going to be looking at setting up classroom technology for simultaneous instruction. Welcome everybody. So in this presentation,
Hi, welcome everybody. My name's Kathleen Mahin, and with me today is Larissa Uceda from the Department of Instructional Technology. So today we're going to present to you some ideas about how to set up your classroom technology for simultaneous instruction. All right, so let's take a look here. All right, so what we're going to cover today, we're going to keep it nice and kind of straightforward and simple today, and just get the basics down for you so that you have what you need for when we start. So as the way you got to this video today through the Simultaneous Instruction PD, there's also on there the link to ask questions. So we'll be stopping throughout the presentation to try to answer as many questions as possible. But what we're going to cover today, we're going to look at what devices your students will have in the classroom. Then we're going to mainly focus on what devices you, the teacher, has in the classroom in order to present for simultaneous instruction. We're going to look at a few ideas of ways that you can set up your classroom with your specific technology. So if you are in the class, and you'll see when you clicked on that link, it said that this was the PD about having a laptop with a smart board. So if that is not what you have in your classroom, look back on that page and see which of the 3 videos matches your technology. So this is the PD about when you have a laptop connecting to a smart board in your classroom.
Kathleen, we just had a question about if a school is not listed. So I agree that just look what technology you have and go to that group.
Yes, we tried to get them all. There could have been a couple here and there that we missed, and we do greatly apologize for that. We're trying to make sure that this is more meaningful for you guys with what you have. The other piece we're going to look at is just a couple settings that we recommend in Zoom to turn on to make things a little bit easier for you, and that will help to facilitate your simultaneous instruction. And then we're also going to look at questions. And as I said, we're going to go along the way today and stop after each topic to try to get as many questions answered as possible. All right, and as I said a little bit ago, the live question link is right on that page that you got to this video from. All right, you'll see live question link. And so then we're getting all those questions live. And between Larissa and I will make sure that if we cannot answer them, these questions will go to those that should be answering, but we are only able to answer based on the instructional technology and the setup in your classroom in our department. And we'll do the best we can with answers. And if we don't get to stuff, we are going to be putting together the FAQ with all of the answers to these questions and post them on that same link that you got to today. So all of our instructional tech for simultaneous learning is all within that same area of RCSD Learns. All right, so let's get into it a bit. So student devices. Hopefully everybody had a chance to read the email that was sent out from Instructional Technology or hear the presentation last night at the board meeting. So we are very, very excited to be able to give you this information. So our K2 classrooms, they already have pods of iPads. We're going to be looking at the number of students in your classroom and making sure that each of your students has an iPad to use that are the in-person students. Your remote students will still be using their Chromebooks. They have access to everything that they had. But in person, our K2 will have an iPad per student. We are distributing those iPads to the building, and you can work with your administration on that, or if you have any questions with that. For our grade 3 through 5, so we are going to ensure that there is a Chrome device in each and every classroom for each student. Okay, so these are classrooms. So for all the students will have a Chrome device. Now, what does that mean? So many of you guys have seen already the Chrome boxes that we have in our second grade rooms and in our pre-K 2. So those Chrome boxes will be, we're going to look at how many there are in the building, along with how many Chromebooks there are in the building, and make sure and distribute those Chrome boxes to the classrooms to make sure that it's one-to-one for each student in the grades 3 through 5. Now, the little caveat that with everything going on, we don't have very many technicians out there at the moment. They are working super hard trying to get all those Chromebooks fixed and repaired and back to students. So the IT department, IM&T, has talked with principals and has with schools that the schools were given very clear directions on which items were Chrome boxes and how they can be moved. So it is going to be up to the school and the administrators at the school on moving those boxes to the different 3rd through 5th classrooms. And if there are not enough Chrome boxes in the building, we will be sending to the building some Chromebooks to supplement to ensure that each student has a device to use in school for in-person instruction. So I know we've gotten a few questions. Well, my classroom, there's not a lot of room. What do I do? So this is where you're going to work with your administrator in your building. So if you have, let's say, 12 students coming back, then you might want to look at and talk to your administrator about maybe that classroom has more Chromebooks rather than the boxes for room purposes. Also,
I'm just going to jump in and maybe I can take over, and one of the other groups needs your assistance.
okay.
So I'll just finish this slide. Actually, I'll share my screen. Is that okay? Hi, everyone. It looks like my Zoom just quit for a second there. So let me get set back up.
Let's see, Larissa, I'm going to just keep going and then we can get over and assist the other group in 1 second. If you can let them know I'll be over momentarily, or give Tom a call and I bet you he could help them out.
Perfect.
All right. So while Larissa is doing that, let's go ahead and keep going just so that we're able to get through the stuff. All right. So our grades 6 through 12, all right, are going to be bringing their Chromebooks back and forth. All right. So this is going to be new for our 6th graders. Our 7th started doing it a bit last year, I believe. 9 through 12, this is old hat for them. But so what we are doing is for our phase 2, which is the one starting soon, we are giving all of our 6th graders a book bag. So the book bag has a special pouch in order to put the Chromebook in. That way, that helps to protect it from damage going back and forth to school. Also, when the rest of our students come back for our phase 3, our 7th and 8th grade students will also be getting these book bags. So all of these devices we have already put in the order. All right, the shipments are coming. We can't get them here faster than what the post office and what they're able to get delivered for us. So as soon as we get them in, we will be distributing them to the schools and to students. All right, here. So that is our student devices. So I'm going to go ahead and stop for a second and take a peek in the chat to see what questions we might have. And Larissa, if you're still here, this would be a great time if you want to take over some questions, because I know you're going to be doing the next tab anyway. So let me go see if I can help out our colleague over there.
Let me just share and make sure everything's working.
All right.
Okay, so you can see the presentation okay, right?
Yeah, you're looking good, Larissa.
Okay, perfect.
So we're just going to answer some questions. Are you good with the questions, or do you need me to read some off?
Nope, I got them.
Perfect.
All set.
I'll be right back.
So we actually didn't have a lot of questions. There are a couple of people that we're really happy to hear, and we've been advocating for those student devices. I will say our next portion is on this teacher setup, and for right now, the student devices are wonderful, but I think it's really important that you get your mind around the teacher setup, and then the devices will come. So I think that next portion will be really important. When should we expect to hear from our administrators? I think that's a fair question that you can, now they just got this information probably Monday night or Tuesday. So they're probably figuring out a plan, but I would just ask them. All right. The goal is for phase 2 to be able to have those one-to-one devices as close to that first week. So hopefully that first week, that is the plan. All right. And phase 3 should be fine also. No, 6th graders they will ship backpacks to the schools before phase 2 starts for 6th grade. Okay, so phase 2, 6th grade backpacks will be at the schools in time. Okay, there was a question that if 6th graders need backpacks. Any returning 6th graders, there will be backpacks for them in the schools. Another question, and I think this is important to take this time to answer these questions. So if one of you has them, a bunch of you do. Does a Chrome box take up a whole desk? Yes. Basically, a small desk in an elementary school, a Chromebook or a Chrome box, which it looks like a desktop. It has a box in back, but it works just like a Chromebook. You sign in the exact way. So it will take up the whole desk. So it would be better on the end, on a table or with 2 desks. Those would be best for classrooms that have few students returning. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move on then to the teacher devices. And I'm excited to talk about the teacher devices, and I'm going to come up. I'm in a classroom. So the teacher devices, we're going to talk about if you have a laptop. So obviously I'm on my laptop right here, and I'm using the webcam. So we have that webcam. And right now I am not using a microphone. If you have an audio system, you can use that. Otherwise, that wireless mic will be helpful to give you more flexibility to walk around the room. But really today, we want to make sure that you have an idea about the front end presentation. We also have the smartboard. Oops. Okay. And the webcam and the lapel mic. Some rooms, not too many of you have a sound system. You wouldn't need to order or put in for a lapel mic. We'll go into that a little bit later also. All right, so basic classroom setup. If you are using your laptop at home, and you don't have an extra monitor, you're doing everything off your laptop, like in this picture. When you get to school, you can connect to the smartboard and you will be on duplicate. You will have the same thing on your laptop that is on your desktop. Okay. This is actually okay. If you feel comfortable and it's working, this is okay to keep. Look at the classroom setup, how you may have to, we had to switch around. This is a cart and the teacher did not have it facing this way. So we switched it around so the teacher can stand here at the board on the laptop, they can see, and at the board. Now, right now, the teacher is on Zoom, but they're all in the waiting room. So since it's the same thing on the smartboard as the laptop, when the kids come in, they'll see like the 3 or 4 faces, and they'll have to scroll through to see different faces. But then they can also look out and they see their students in person at the same time. Everyone sees the content that is being shared. This is like one way to do it. When we go on next to extending your desktop, if you don't feel comfortable with this, know that just by moving your laptop like this and setting it up, it will work for simultaneous instruction for your whole group part. Okay? Now, the next thing is probably a setup that we would recommend. If you are using a second monitor at home, you're familiar with moving your smartboard lesson to a different window or your Zoom kids to a different window and you have 2 monitors, this is for you. This is the same setup. My laptop is here. My laptop is here perpendicular to the board. And I have my content on the screen for my kids. So I can have Zoom on one thing, my content here. All right. My kids in person are seeing the content. My kids on Zoom, I'm sharing the screen and they're seeing the same content. So that would be extending the desktop. We're going to spend more time on that because there are some setup steps. So we want to make sure you feel comfortable with those setup steps. All right, so let's I'm just going to play this video about extending the desktop, and then we'll continue on. All right. It's not the easiest thing to show, so hopefully this will help. Also, if this flips you like, oh my gosh, stop, Larissa, just listen and know that it's possible. You don't have to remember all the details, okay? We just want you to know that you could have two screens, all right? Zoom and here. The actual setup, we can help you, but you have to then just get the idea. All right, so here it is. Hi, I'm in my classroom and I have my presentation up and it's duplicate. So I see what's on the smartboard and the screen are the same thing. I also have Zoom open. So then I can have two things open, but it would be nice if I extend my desktop and have my presentation there and my Zoom here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to press Windows P, and then I can click on Extend. Now think projector, Windows P. So now it's on Extend, and this is what it looks like. So I see my presentation here, and I just see the background on the smartboard. So I can pull this presentation up, and I'm going to try and move it that way. It doesn't go that way. And I'm going to move it this way, and it goes over to the smartboard. But what I really want is to be able to drag it the other way to the left. I'm going to click on this cog or gear, and it brings up the settings. And then if I click on the home, I need to go to the system because I want to talk about the display. So I click here under display. This is my first monitor, which is my computer, and this is my smartboard. So I'm going to move it to the other side. And then I press apply. Now this makes more sense if I close it, because I can pull this to the right and it comes back to my computer. So now I just move it to the left, and then on my computer I click on Zoom, and I have my Zoom open for my class. So now I have the two things open, and I can go full screen with Zoom too. All right, I hope that helps. Hi, I'm in my classroom. Okay. So what I have here is extended desktop. And what you need to do to get ready if you're going to extend your desktop, and if you have a second monitor at home, when you have that second screen, which is your smartboard, and in this picture, I can see the laptop and then the content. You drag over the content to your smartboard, and then you can eventually, you'll share what's on the smartboard, the screen too. So getting used to dragging over content takes time. I would definitely suggest testing that out, making sure which way. And if you have a second monitor at home, start putting the content that you share on your second monitor. Have your kids on Zoom on your computer. It will be the same setup. I think that is just something to get used to. What is nice is when you're in the morning getting set before you teach, you usually get all your tabs open for what you will go to. So if you are on the smartboard, you can, or at school, you can drag everything that you'll need different tabs for that day or that morning or that, 30-minute session, and it will be all ready to go. Your Zoom kids here. That will make, you're not going to have to drag and do that during your lesson. Okay, so that's just dragging content to your second monitor. Now there is one other tricky thing. So I can pick up my pen and I
have extended my desktop and pulled my content.
I want to make sure that I can write on my smartboard. So now I have my content here, my Zoom here, and I just need to do one more thing before extending my desktop is set up.
And let me pause you for 1 second, Larissa, because this is actually going to answer about 10 questions in the chat. So people are asking, but if I do that, I can't write on my smartboard. So definitely listen up for this part.
So let me play the video and then I might stop, and I have a another camera that you can see how it will work. Okay, so I'm going to play a video about orienting the second board.
I have extended my desktop and pulled my content to the smartboard.
And if I pick up a pen and write on the screen, it's going to write on my desktop. How to fix this is we are going to press the 2 buttons to orient. And I see that it comes to this screen. This is on my desktop, what you're seeing. And I'm going to go ahead and press the space bar. And now the orient screen is on smartboard, so I can orient it. And now when I pick up a pen, it writes on my smartboard, and we are all set to go. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to click and orient my board now. Kathleen, do we want to stop and go over any questions? Because we kind of went through a lot.
Sure. I know I'm seeing a lot of questions still about the webcams and the wireless mics and what kind of happens with that. So I'll kind of go into that a little bit more. Just a couple days ago, I believe it was last week, we just put out and just were able to put together the ability for teachers to request through help desk a webcam and request a wireless mic. Now we're saying lapel mic just because we got in the habit of that, but these mics are actually, they either can be worn on your lapel or they're a boom mic and have the ability to be attached. I haven't played with one yet, but it has the attachment where the boom is right over your mouth as you talk. So that is going to help tremendously if you do not have an amplification system and you have to wear a mask. So that is going to be key. Now, if you have an amplification system, you honestly don't need that mic because
I have extended my desktop.
You already got
and
it.
pulled my content to the smartboard.
Let's get Larissa stopped sharing here for a second. Oh, all right. I know she's getting all set for you guys for the next piece. So that you don't need a mic if you've got the amplification system. But all of you guys in this group here, you're all here because you have the laptop and a smartboard. So every single person in this group should request the microphone through help desk. All right. And we do, in this presentation, we do have the link of how to do that. We can also make sure that it's on the website after this is over, just to make sure. Also, everybody here has a laptop with the smart board. Therefore, we really highly suggest that you put in the webcam request. So that's just going to give you some flexibility around the room. Now, just like everything else, and if you went out and tried to get, you know, a couple thousand webcams, it may take a few minutes, right? Not a few minutes, but it may take a little bit. We've got to get those in. And as soon as they come in, they will be delivered to the schools. So the help desk request is letting us know how many to buy. Webcams, I believe the order's in. We're trying to get them for everybody. Lapel mics, absolutely for you guys, or the boom, whatever kind of mic, wireless mic. So that's some of that information. We looked at the smart board. I also see a lot of stuff about how am I going to fit the Chrome boxes? How am I going to plug them in? Those kind of things. So I would highly suggest connecting with your custodial team at your school. I know they typically have power strips. They do know how to request stuff. I know facilities is working on stuff. So definitely connect with your school and administration and custodial team. Let's see if there's any other questions here that we should cover real quick. We know that there's different groups like small speech or pull out, and we can work with you on different ways to set up. I saw on here, one person talked about how they're teaching from the hallway. So you're going to continue with that, and it's just going to be a smaller group with your students, and your in-person is sitting near you with, and you're on Zoom with those at home. So we can also work with some of those individual setups with our office hours and online support. And if you can't make it to our office hours, please feel free to email any of us. We are always available and willing to assist you whenever you need.
All right, I'm ready to get back to,
All right.
you see my screen, right?
We do the classroom setup page.
Okay, so we talked about extending your desktop, which gives you your kids on Zoom and your content here. We talked about then orienting your board so you can write on it, not in when you're in full screen, but when you're out or on any smart notebook lessons. And then the only other thing here is this is the same setup. We have the computer, the laptop here, and the content on the board. Okay. And when you share in Zoom, and I'm going to go back to my other computer because I don't think you need to see me in this way. Okay. When you're sharing in Zoom, you can share, and instead of sharing the document, the Smart Notebook lesson or the Chrome Google Slides, you can share this screen too. What that will allow you to do is have everything that is on this screen, your smart board, it will be shared so you know if it's on this board, your kids at home are seeing it. And also your kids in front of you are seeing it. So that is probably a different sharing than you're used to. Many people just share the actual page, which is totally fine, and that's actually still fine to do. But it may be easier when you share to share that screen too. And let me do show this quick video.
With Extended Desktop, I'm going to share my content in Zoom to screen 2.
Okay, so that is that screen too. We just have one other, I'm over at School 46, there's tables. Every room is going to look different and how your students are spaced out. But we really, again, if you can get these steps for your front end presentation set up, I think you'll feel a lot better that you can see your kids in person, see your kids on Zoom, and share content. Then we can get fancy after. That's enough. And you have everything you need to do that. All right, Kathleen. If there are questions about the setup, I think we should just talk about the setup right now, the front end teacher setup.
Yep. So we have a ton of questions, which I'm trying to pull some of those out. But I think you've answered a lot of them going through. And I do want to reiterate that we're going to take and make a lot of these and go through and answer them individually. One of the questions that has been coming up is, can you demonstrate what it might be like with a mask on, what it might sound like? Would you happen to have a mic?
Yeah, I have it right here. Oh, perfect. With the mic?
Do you happen to have one on you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. But you don't want to hear me with the mask on, do you?
Let's give it a try. Let's see how it sounds like.
Okay. All right, so I have a mask on now, and I'm right in front. My microphone is right on my laptop. So it's fine. I can get about here, and you can probably still hear me. I'm loud enough for these kids. But as I walk further away, I think you'll have a hard time hearing me. Okay? So for basic instruction, it should be okay, but much better with the mic. Kathleen, how do I sound over here?
I can actually hear you pretty decently, Larissa.
Well, I think that's good to know. And that's actually a great test because, and I might just keep this on because this is what our reality. So let's test it out. But I think if you know you're not going to be able to walk further around the room, but if you're right here and up at the smart board, you should be okay with sound. Later, that mic will just give you more flexibility. That was a good idea, Kathleen.
And a couple other questions are people asking about some things that they have that they might want to use, and we're gonna address all that stuff afterwards and with the FAQ. So we want to make sure to get through all of the stuff so that you guys know how to set stuff up. So we're gonna keep going, and then we'll take more questions and look through stuff and answer in a little bit. So
all right, you guys, I hope that you get started on that front end, just getting your system set. You're on, Kathleen.
All right, I'm on. All right, let me hop over here and share my screen. And share sound. Perfect. All right, I think you guys can all hear me. So now let's talk about Zoom. For those of you who know me, this is one of my favorite topics. So hopefully I won't get too excited on you. All right, so one of the things that we did realize as we're playing with stuff and out in buildings and testing everything out to try to make sure what is the best thing to tell you guys and what advice to give you. So one of our number one advices is to download the Zoom client. All right, we've always said log in through Rock Connect, all of that. And if you've worked with us individually, we've had you download the client. So what that means is, and it's in this presentation, we've got the link. I've got this video here. It's on our website. So there's lots of ways to find it. And if we have time, I want to make sure we get through everything. We'll play it. But on the presentation, you can link right to it. It just tells you where to go to get the Zoom client. Zoom client just means the program on your computer. All right, so you download it. When you use and sign in with your Zoom client, so you're signing in with what we call SSO. SSO just means single sign-on. All right, so our Rock Connect is where all of our single sign-on stuff is managed. So if you remember SSO, all the directions go through it like a ton. So what that Zoom desktop client does is allows you, when you click on a link for a Zoom, you know how sometimes you go in and it says you're a guest and it's not really you, and people ask you to rename and all of that stuff. Well, if you go in through the client, you're automatically logged in through the district. When you click on the link, you're already logged in. It also gives you extra capability while presenting in Zoom. So one of the biggest things that we found was that going through the Zoom desktop client allows you to have on one screen your full gallery view of your class, your entire class up on the screen. And then with the extended desktop or dual monitor, then on the other screen, you can have your content that you're working with. So that is only available with that desktop client. So that's our number one reason why to download it. There's other reasons, but that's our top reason. So let's take a look at some other settings in Zoom. Oop, that got away from me. Let's take a look at some other settings in Zoom that, while playing with things, and we've spent hours this past couple of weeks kind of playing around with different settings, trying to see what are the very few things that we found would be most important for you to do. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this link, and it's going to take us and right in that same place that you got to this presentation today, right here. So we had under staff, we've got Zoom settings. It's all right here. It's also linked in our presentation. So these are the basic Zoom settings you want to make sure are set for your classroom instruction. So number one, most important thing is that when you are in a Zoom and there's more than one person in the room logged into Zoom, you have to make sure that there is only one microphone and one speaker on. So all of the other participants, only one person should have on a microphone or should have on their speaker. If you've ever done it, you will know exactly why. You get very, very loud, screechy feedback noise. So make sure, and if you're doing it from a different device and it asks you to join audio, only join the audio on one computer. Then you don't have to worry about it. All right, so only one computer has mic and speakers on. The next piece that we found that was very important to talk to you guys about was the fact that you can log in as yourself on multiple devices and join the same Zoom. So people say, well, why would I want to do that? Well, you guys have a laptop in, so this is our laptop group. You guys have a laptop. You'll be logged in on your laptop. You'll be logged in, which means you'll have it on your laptop, on your smartboard, so you can see it. Now, our K2 classrooms do have iPads. Now, all of the iPads do have the Zoom app in self-service, so you could log in as yourself on an iPad in the Zoom app and join the meeting, and then you have that whiteboard capability to write and share the screen on the iPad. So it allows you also, if you do have it on multiple devices, you can manage chat easier, you can do different things. You can use that second device as a document or a web camera. So there are a lot of reasons why you may want to do that. The other option that we wanted to just go over is what's called the dual monitor display feature. And you'll see right down here, I've got where to find it. So in Zoom, I think that everybody knows that now, hopefully, that if you to the right of your little camera is an arrow, and in that arrow are the video settings. All right, so that's what these are. I'll show you right where all that is. So what is dual monitor display? It's one of my favorite features because I have two monitors. So in a classroom, you're going to have your laptop and you're going to have your smartboard. If you use extended desktop, all right? So notice I said, if that's what you have chosen to use. In Zoom, you're going to want to have it set under your settings as the dual monitor display. What that'll do is allow you to have one side be all of your students and their display, and then the other side, the content. So it actually splits your Zoom window into two separate windows. So that is right in your video settings under general, and it's just a checkbox. So it does take a little bit of playing around with to get used to using it. So I highly suggest if you have a TV at home that you want to plug in and play around with it first, just get used to it. No, it is not required. It is something that if you would like to use, it is there. I also saw in my chat that it said, somebody asked, how do you get your picture on the side when you're sharing the screen and still have the screen sharing content? That is because I have side-by-side mode turned on, which is our next setting. So what's nice about the side-by-side mode is that it allows one full screen of your content and then your participants over on the side along the edge. So, and you can make them smaller or bigger by just dragging the separator bar here. All right, where to find it? Same thing, that video settings, and this time it's under the share screen in the settings. Authentication. So I cannot tell you the number of tickets that I get asking me to go through and look because somebody changed their name or somebody said something. So authentication is the district's way. This is what we have set up to ensure that your Zoom class is safe. Only when you turn authentication on, it is saying that only people who are connected to Rock Connect, so they have to have an RCSD K-12 or an RCSD one-to-one account, okay? So when you turn it on, the participant clicks on your link. If they're signed into Rock Connect, they automatically go to the meeting. If they're not signed into Rock Connect, it brings them to Rock Connect. They click sign in and it goes to your meeting. If they're not part of the district, it goes to a page that says, sorry, this is a restricted class. So we do highly encourage every teacher, especially over third grade, to have authentication on. All right. So I do have very detailed how to. I have videos. I have each step. I have why. So, and the other question that I get a lot is, but I have a volunteer that comes into my classroom. I have a student teacher, outside agency. How do they get in if I turn on authentication? Well, you can go into the help desk ticketing system, and there is, you can create a ticket to ask for a account for that person. They'll be issued a temporary RCSD one-to-one account so that they can safely join your Zoom, and we can make sure that our students stay safe. We have all of their ID numbers when they're in there. So if something does happen, we are able to see who it is and what happened. Whew. All right. So let me head back over to our presentation because those are all the Zoom settings that I really felt like we needed to go through. Now, taking a look at our questions over here, I'm actually not seeing many new ones coming in.
Kathleen, I feel like we have a lot about classroom setup because there's just a delay. So I was going to ask if you wanted me to go back and answer those, and then there'll probably be more Zoom questions.
Well, how about we get through the rest, and then that way we can spend the rest of the time. That way, if people want to stay for more questions, they're welcome to stay on. How's that sound? All right. That way, everybody's got all the information they need, and you guys are welcome. We'll stay on and answer more questions when at the after 10:30. All right, so we're not going to touch this very quickly because we are instructional technology, but we want to make sure that you know hand hygiene is going to be your number one, right? Our students are able to go up to the smartboard. You are able to use the smartboard. You just want to make sure that they use the hand sanitizer before and after. Right? All the schools will, I believe a shipment went out today to phase 1. Phase 2 and 3, the shipments will be going for the Lysol wipes, which those Lysol wipes are what you're going to use just to wipe down the technology. You do not need to wipe them down all day long. You are going to be using hand hygiene. The students will be washing their hands. You wipe down with the Lysol wipe at maybe in the morning, end of the day. All right, just wipe it down, let it sit damp for a little bit, and you're good. So that's all we're going to cover here. And our technology resources, I am really hoping that at this point, this RCSD Learns truly is like one of your favorite bookmarks and that you go there all the time. So everything that we do in instructional technology is in RCSD Learns. How to get to us for online office hours is in RCSD Learns. Stuff to send parents to if they're having any issues with Chromebooks, with anything, is in RCSD Learns. Staff, our approaches to simultaneous learning, last week or 2 weeks ago presentation and today is in RCSD Learns. Along with in there are all of our programs that we have gone through and truly like worked with to try to find the best ones to suggest to you. All right, we have one additional resource page here that I'm going to go ahead and leave up for a bit. You guys have this presentation. We have the directions right on there of how to request that webcam or wireless mic. It is not too late to do it. Please go right ahead. We are available every day except for Wednesday because we're doing PD all day. We're available every day for online support. We're also all available via email. And everything, the link you got here today is going to stay. All the videos from today are going to stay. Please feel free to go back, watch them, pass them around, and we are here. So I am going to go ahead and open it. I'm going to stop my share and open it back up with Larissa so that we can continue with questions and
have the questions all set to answer. And then
perfect.
First, you just talked about webcams, and I want to talk about that. You do not need a webcam to start. So please set up the classroom technology as is so you can share, and know that a webcam is kind of an extra. And I have a webcam set up on how I think you would use it. So I just plugged it in the USB and it's on the top of the smart board. So I want to show you what that looks like. I'm going the little up arrow next to stop to video, and I'm going to go to that. So maybe for a whole group, your morning meeting, this would be nice, but it is not needed. You can also use your regular camera on your laptop and turn your laptop, not ideal, but it works just as well, towards the students. So I just feel like I wouldn't worry about a webcam. After, when you get it, we can, a couple other questions about that. We are not ordering it for everyone, but if you put in the ticket, you will get one.
And
Yes.
the webcams come with the USB cord that you will need to plug it in. I do see those cords. And also our technicians are going from class to class to hook up and make sure the front of the room technology is hooked up.
So that said, it is so important that you come in and make sure, because it's like the beginning of the year, make sure it works, your smart board, and that the plugins and that you have the HDMI to plug in, because you can put tickets in for anything that is not working. Okay, so that would be good to do.
And Larissa, a great time to do that, I believe, I think I saw from RTA that they had some designated days for teachers to come before students come. So when you do come in those designated days, your computer's been off the network, or it could be for a while. Plan to let it update. Turn it on. Let it run its updates. Don't wait for day number 1 for that, because we've all been stuck there, right? Make sure you're all set up. If you are having, I see some, I don't know how to hook it up, I'm afraid of the cords, that stuff. If you come in a little bit, during that time, there will be people and to assist you as well.
Okay, I'm going to go through some of the questions. What is a boom mic? The mic would come with a lapel or a headset. If I have an additional monitor that we purchase, can we use it? You don't need it. You do not need to purchase anything. You have, your smartboard is your additional monitor. I say leave that at home for your home setup. Grades 7 and 8 remaining in classrooms and teachers rotate. That's where it's really important that you can just plug in each room, and you're going to have this set up perpendicular. You can see the here kids and the at-home kids. So if you're set up, it should just plug and go. Obviously should. That means that each of those rooms, maybe each person takes a room to make sure it's set up. Where is the share button in Google Slides? Actually, the share button is in Zoom. You know how you share your screen? That's what we were talking about. So in Zoom, just like you do every day, you share screen. That's what we were talking about. Someone said they don't see screen 1, screen 2. Email me. We know it's something that you changed in the settings. We can fix that. Will tech support? It is a lot. We also have a document with all these steps and talking with your colleagues, and like the first day, and we'll also do what we can. Can I use the smartboard stylus to write on Google Slides? Yes, not when it's in full screen, but yes, you can. And the kids at home see that. Same with Smart Notebook. You can use the marker, the kids at home see that. Good question. I have a newer smartboard. Where is the orienting? It's not the 2 buttons, and I didn't include that. I think, Kathleen, there's just one button that has like an orienting icon.
On the new board, I believe so.
Okay. So they also have a different button to press. FM system. If you have an FM system, it may screech when you get too close to the box. And if you need a ticket in for those, if it's not working, put a ticket in.
So
How do I get my mic if I have a sound system? That's through your building. Ask your administration. It's either in the room or sometimes they collect them.
and I see some people still waiting on some tickets for student teacher accounts. Honestly, if you email me so that I can follow up on it with the ticket number to see if it was set. Some of the people are getting to stuff as absolutely fast as possible. It's the same people who are also getting out everything that's going on. So please, we are working absolutely as fast as possible to get through all the tickets.
There was a question about co-teachers, and that's a really good question. As far as the sound, you're going to have to see how that works with the rooms, or if there's another room that you can go to. But one teacher may be working with kids in Zoom. One teacher may be working with the kids in the class, or they may have a bit of both. But in that scenario, I would make sure you request a microphone. You don't need it, but I think it might be nice for you to hear the at-home kids.
So, and also just kind of thinking about, there are teachers that are in buildings now and doing this. And as we're going forward, we're going to learn a lot. We're going to come up with strategies and techniques and really kind of sharing those, because you guys are going to be the experts in the classroom with what works best with what you have. So we can help with come up with ideas and troubleshoot for you. But you're truly going to be the expert.
One last question that I think was really good. I love this. They set up extended desktop and they're trying it. Now they can't get the file back. You kind of pull it from the top bar and you pull it kind of down, and then it's not full screen, and then you drag it over. So just pull it from the top bar and pull it down and then drag it. That does take time to get used to.
And if they have a keyboard, they can hit escape too, which makes it minimizes the screen a little bit, or takes it out of full screen.
And just move your mouse to the extended and then hit wherever your mouse is, it will escape on that screen. Perfect. Well, I think, Kathleen, we will have a document with the 6 steps to get set up. And I think we're good, right?
So, yeah, we do have a ton of questions, and we really, really appreciate it. And we do want to get to every single one of them. So we're going to, after all of these sessions, we're going to, as a team, pull them together and put up answers for you on the RCSD Learns website. All the ones that we can answer. If there's stuff that needs to go to other departments, we will pass along your questions there as well.
I have 2 more things to say. There is an iPad email going out today that will answer a lot of questions about the iPads. And then, Kathleen, there was a question about Zoom. Can you get a message to the kids in the waiting room?
Unfortunately, no. And that has nothing to do with us. Zoom, it's just not a feature of Zoom. So I suggest, however you're working with students now, if you're doing Google Classroom, right, use that messaging in Google Classroom to get that message to students. If you're using Seesaw, use Seesaw. But no, Zoom does not have the capability of, for our students, even though it says that there's a message, our students going in through Chrome cannot see those waiting room messages.
All right. Well, thank you. I thought we'd get one more in. All right,
Sounds
everyone.
good.
Thank you so much.
All right. And everybody have a great day. We are here for support. RCSD learns and come see us in office hours.